Good afternoon, it's Bob Webster, Keefe Real Estate in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. It is Thursday, October 24th. Well, I did a video earlier this week where I asked the question, what does every seller and every buyer in every real estate transaction hope for? And I put the question out a couple of days ago and asked if anyone had a response or wanted to take a stab at answering the question. That I'd love to hear any thoughts or any potential answers to the question. But here's my answer. I think that what every buyer and every seller hopes for in every real estate transaction is that the real estate agent that they're using is somehow going to have some supernatural abilities to be able to look into a crystal ball and predict the future. The seller is hoping to have the real estate person tell them how long it's going to take to sell the house. The buyer is looking for advice, especially when it comes to recommendations on things like negotiations. And many times a buyer will say to a real estate agent, boy, I don't want to lose this property, but I also don't want to pay the price that the seller wants for it. So they'll do some prolonged negotiations on the property, but all the time saying to the real estate agent, but I don't want to lose this property. And sellers very often will do the same thing, will counter and say, I don't want to lose this buyer. And whenever I hear that, it always sets off a bell, and I always try to say to whichever party I'm talking to, whether it's a buyer or a seller, that the reality is we don't control that, and anytime there's a situation where you're dealing with human beings and human nature and having to make a decision, there's always the risk and the unknown of knowing how the other side is going to respond. So again, I'll do another video. I've got some other specifics that I want to share with you, but short answer to my question earlier this week, what does every buyer and every seller and every real estate transaction hope for? The answer is, their hope is that the real estate agent that they're working with somehow has the ability to predict the future, predict the outcome, or tell them things that they would like to know in terms of the transaction that just honestly, realistically, are not able to be answered in the course of a normal real estate transaction. So I'll get back with more ideas in the future. In the meantime, it's Bob Webster in Lake Geneva. I hope you're having a great day.